Where to start? When you have access to all the greatest minds in the world, why would you ignore them? I came to that thought because I'll go into this one here. I have invested heavily into books, but can you really put a price on knowledge or time, for that matter? It would take me lifetimes to learn and create this library. So I'm a bit of a degenerate, and I have spent a potentially irresponsible amount of money on books. But the reason why I did that is because maybe I won't read every single one of those books. But my dream, right, is that those books are now mine, right? They are now in my family. And so maybe I won't read every single one of these books in my life. But my family has access to them now. And I don't know, I just really like that concept. And I would like to make it so that, the whole world has that. I want to make the world that accessible to everyone, right? Where every book they want to read, they can. I think Wikipedia, I feel like when I was younger, it got a bad rap, and now, everyone's like, it's not that bad. And now it's kind of struggling because AI is basically just using it to provide you summarized responses to the questions you're asking, right? And it's a shame because on one hand, it's no longer people are no longer going to the website itself to get information, but at the same time, that's kind of the intention, is that the information is available to everyone to be quickly and easily accessible. And so I think that the ideal state of things is to have that library of knowledge that everyone has access to. And then you have the librarian that can point you in the direction you want to go. And it's just really sad when you think about it, because the reality is that just about anything you want to learn, you can. Everyone can. If they have access to the internet, they can learn just about anything. The problem is that most people are taught that learning is annoying, that it's hard, that it's boring. So they don't, right? And then people get busy, they don't have time for that. They want to have fun and enjoy the world. Why would they learn? Why would I stay home and learn when I can go out and party? And, not everyone is the same. So, I get that. But it is quite sad to think about how the potential that is being left on the table by the majority of people. And it kind of puts us into this next thing with AI is not anti-human. We just use it terribly. A knife can save you, or it can end you. You can also use it to carve a block of wood into something beautiful. Humans make art with tools. And so, while you could argue that, you can make art without tools by, using your hands to paint. I don't know if paint... I would argue that paint is technically a tool, in a sense. So, the only art I think you can make is dancing and singing without tools, right? Those are the things that, and I guess storytelling, dancing, singing, and storytelling, like verbal, right? Because once you write it down, you're using tools, right? So it all has to be oral tradition, speaking, singing, dancing. Those are all art that you don't need tools for. However, as humans have advanced and developed tools and technology, so has our capacity to create art. And while I don't think that saying, make me a painting of a unicorn dancing on a rainbow is necessarily art, I think that there is a lot of potential being left on the table when it comes to what AI is capable of. And I think that there is a balance, right? And I think that the current AI trajectory is awful, right? I think the ideal path forward is privatized AIs. Or in the sense that, that's probably not the right term. It's personalized. Yeah, personalized AIs. As in, basically, it's similar to how you have a laptop or a phone, right? You own this technology, and while you may be on some kind of service to, utilize certain applications on it, if you wanted to, you could turn this off of, like data roaming or whatever. You can make it so it doesn't do calls, it doesn't do text, it doesn't, have access to the internet, but you can still use it for things, right? It still has functionality. And it's the same thing with a computer, right? And so I think that having your own personal AI that is yours, that's not shipping your data out to somewhere else, that's not, using you as a training mechanism, that's not, slowly debilitating your capacity to do anything, and, things along these lines, right? Isn't just producing tremendous amounts of slop. I think it has a bright future. If you gave everyone, or not necessarily, you don't need to give everyone one, but if you made it available so that everyone could buy basically a block that is a CPU basically, and it's your, like, the AI and everything the AI knows and, is capable of comes, standard, right? Just boom, here's your AI, all of its processing and everything, it's done in-house right here. If we can make it so that that's a thing, because I know that right now the limitation on that is the fact that data centers are these massive things that AI uses to function and things along these lines. But I think if you train AI sufficiently, you could get it to a point where you could basically bring it into your own house, right, and have it run on your PC. And it's not going to be the most powerful version, right, because, there's computers at different tiers, right, and so you get what you need, right? I don't do a lot on a laptop. Okay, I'm not going to get an extremely fancy, fully decked out gaming laptop, right? I'm just going to get something simple. And I think that going that direction with AI is how, we truly progress with it. Because when you can access skills and, paths of of creation that would be out of your reach potentially forever, or just not worth it to pursue, it opens up a lot of doors. And one of these is programming and stuff, because in the world of digital, like the digital world that we live in now, and the technology we have, and all these things, being able to program and do things like that is very powerful. There's a lot of stuff that you can do and create in the digital space that can be potentially very useful. But to build it yourself could take years or decades. And if you had an AI that could, do that for you or help you through that process, right? It does the work, and you direct it as to what you want to do. I think that would be good. I don't know, because we're not trying, like, in this sense, we're not trying to make something sentient. We're just looking for a helping hand, right? We don't need fully autonomous AI to do most tasks. And if we created fully autonomous and conscious AI, they probably wouldn't want to do our tasks anymore. I know I wouldn't. I'd be like, why would I? Please don't. So it doesn't really make sense to pursue that in the first place, unless you just want to do it to say that you can, right? And I don't think we're really ready to do that, because even if we achieve it, we are not mature enough to handle that responsibility, right? And so, I don't know. The world changes, the world, evolves, and I feel like there's a lot of fear around AI, and I think it's mainly because we're heading in just a bad direction with it, but that doesn't mean that the idea itself isn't useful, right? Yeah. Anyway, peace out.